decisions at home is really crucial. It would affect the whole family. Like how would the family invest the money for long term, for short term? What kind of school would the children go to? It would really affect the family whether it is aligned with the value or not. So it is really important for the wife to have good literacy. And when we're talking about the children, of course, the mother should be the role model of the family. You know, when we want to make a good reading environment, we need to be the role model. We cannot really expect our children to, you know, enjoy reading while we are busy with our smartphone. It is really crucial for us to give an example and tell them and show them that reading is something enjoyable. Also, it is crucial to nurture the critical skill and empathy. How would we say that? For example, our children came back from school and said, "Oh, mommy, I just got conflict with my classmates from different religion, let's say. How should I deal with that? When we're really just, you know, when we're lack of critical thinking skills and empathy." Isa, diem dulu. Okay, that's, you know, feel free to relate. But, you know, you see, we really need to communicate with our children and, you know, tell them like how to deal with conflict. You know, sometimes, especially if you're a fiction reader, there are some kind of conflicts that are not the conflicts are not something that we encounter in our daily life. So it's quite it gives us some how I say it, you know, apologies in advance for my English, but, you know, it's just crucial, you know, to nurture the empathy and the critical thinking skill. We can give our children different point of view, just like when we are reading book. That's what reading makes us, you know, becoming more empathetic with other conditions. So the fruitful discussion in the family should be good for the wider society, and also it affects our communication with other women. Like, for example, we are not really it is quite common to see some mothers debate, questioning each other's decision, which one is better, being a housewife or being a career woman and continue as a working mother. I would say that critical thinking skills and empathy are pretty crucial to see the wider context, like why some people make different decisions. So that's how it can be crucial. And then we're talking about the benefit of reading for adults in general. You guys are bookworms, so you know, it's just common thing. But the thing is that it improves our attention span, even for adults. And of course, it is relaxing. And now the specific benefit of reading for parents. Again, I would say it lets us become the role model for our children. And then we create an uninterrupted bonding and creating good memories for children. Like, for example, when I said that, let's say I am spoon feeding my son, it still allows me to multitask. Sometimes I still check my smartphone, some notification, but then when I am reading for my children, I really give 100% of my attention for the activity. So somehow, when we're doing it, when we give 100% of our attention, it would create memories for good memories for our children. And it can also be a subject for discussion. It can be a reference, like for example, we go to the zoo and then we can say, okay, do you remember the book that we discussed last week, yesterday, something like that. And of course, the benefit of reading for children, it is the foundation of literacy skills. Sometimes when the parents are not really understand about the importance of literacy skill, and they said that, do we still need to read? We can just Google everything these days. But the thing is that literacy skill is not really, it is not only about getting the information, but it is also about evaluating the information that we get and also how to make it relevant with our life. And it really needs a certain skill set, which is called literacy skill. Also, it sparks the imagination and curiosity. Again, some parents said, but why do we have to read? You know, nowadays, everything in YouTube is already imaginative. Like you've got dinosaurs in robot form, you've got robot in dinosaurs form. Everything is like very imaginative. But we should say that it is actually the imagination of the creator, not our children. But when we're talking about reading a book, like for example, I think a lot of us here read Harry Potter. We really need to actively imagine what kind of place Hogwarts is and what kind of person Hermione is or Severus Snape. You know, I used to have like very different mental image of Professor Snape. And then when I saw the movie, oh my God, this is so different with what I imagined. But really the point is that reading is about sparking the imagination and curiosity. It also helps to focus and improve the attention. It's really crucial for schoolwork. Again, empathy and critical thinking and creative thinking. So, okay, thank you and sorry for the interruption. Feel free if if there are any questions or something to discuss.
Okay, Kak Puty, it's such a great sharing. I was really captivated by your sentence that we, as women, we have to have good literacy because knowledge cannot be taken away from you. It's just like what my mother said to me a long time ago. And if you have questions about Kak Puty's presentation, you can raise your hand or you can type the question in the chat box. I think lots of the participants today are also mothers because some of them are turning off their cameras because they have to look after their kid. I'm also a mother and I really understand that. Okay, there's a question in the chat box, Kak Puty, from Cecilia Tifa. I want to ask about motherhood, Kak Puty. As a mother, how can you still manage to learn something new, run a book club, work, read, and etc.?
Well, I would say that I think the key is to like have sort of certain goals, like what do we want to achieve? Why? Because sometimes some people just like, okay, I want to have a book club, I want to read, but they don't really have any particular goals. And maybe it's okay in the short term, but for a long run, you really need to have like a strong why. And then after you got those kind of set of goals, then based on that, you can sort your priorities. I would say that for mothers, work-life balance or life balance in general, it's not really like, you know, what do you call it, the jungkat-jungkit. It's not really something that's just between this or that. It can be like, you know, dancing on a ball and you've got 2 plates and you've got to keep balancing it like every minute. So it can be messy. So I think you really short the priority, and then based on that, you can kind of decide what kind of tasks you can delegate. Like as for me, I don't cook. I don't watch because I have my kind of support system, my mbak. But then if my mbak has to go mudik, go back to her hometown, then I would stop working. I would not accept any project or commission. So it's really about sorting the priority. So I think that's it. And then of course stick with the schedule. Sometimes what we think we don't have time, or it's not we but me. Sometimes I think, oh my god, I don't have time, but then I end up seeing Instagram stories like for so many people, like, oh, I'm not really close with this person, but I've reached those, Instagram stories. So yeah, you need to really be have those kind of self discipline. So I think.
Okay, I totally agree with you, Kak Puti.
But what about you, Mbak Krisan? You are also a mother.
I think I also apply the same strategies as you, because society often has this kind of pressure that mothers have to do everything in order to become a super mom. Like they have to cook, they have to work, they have to take care of their kid. But I also delegate lots of houseworks, because I don't cook. I subscribe to a catering, daily catering, and it saves lots of time. And then I also have mbak, but she doesn't stay in the house. She just come 3 times a week to clean and to wash the clothes. And I also have a toddler. My kid is 2 years old now, and I have a babysitter at home because I have to work, and my parents is far away from me, from the city. So I live with my husband. I live only with my husband, and my parents-in-law are. We live in the same city, but we live in a different house. So I have to, and I work also. I work full time, so I have to have someone to help. If I don't, I will be crazy. And and lastly, I have my biggest support system in my house is my husband. So I'm not a patient mother. I get tired easily. I get angry easily, and when I'm about to lose my sanity, I'm very grateful that my husband is there to feed my kids, to bath my kids when my babysitter is mudik and I'm tired. Yeah, that's it.
Maybe other mothers, if you want to share, I think it's really nice. You can just drop on the chat box, or maybe if you want to share some more.
Yeah. And I see Sherry raises her hand. Okay, Sherry, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to ask. It's not happening to me, but it's happening to some of the people that I know on Instagram. Like sometimes in Indonesia, parents like don't allow their children to read novels or fictional books. Like so, my opinion is like, I have also read a comment on my post that my parents doesn't allow me to read or buy novels because they say that it's wasting time, like that. So it's not the mothers but like parents. So how can you deal with parents that don't allow you to read? But yeah, we all know that reading is kind of have lots of benefits like that.
Okay, it's a very interesting question. I cannot relate honestly because my mother is a very avid reader. How about you, Kak Puti? Do you have any tips how to handle that type of parents?
Well, I would say that dealing with parents are quite tricky. I couldn't relate because my parents both were very supportive about my reading activity, but I think we can maybe refer them to an article or a journal or a study that says that the benefit of reading fiction books, because it is proven that reading fictional books can, give you a point of view, because sometimes you meet a character that you don't like, that you cannot relate, but you can get into their head, like what they're thinking, why they're doing certain things. Also, it nurtures the empathy. It lets you widen your how you see things. It gives you another point of view, so that's quite beneficial. But I think to communicate it with parents, usually you need some, like more credible article, maybe just share it and say how it can benefit. But I think in short, if your parents are open-minded enough, I think we can just share how we can benefit from reading in general.
Okay, thank you, Kak Puty. And since we are nearly out of time, but there's still one question in the chat box. So let Kak Puty answer this one last question. It's from Delphi. Kak Puty, start reading is easy, but I wonder, how do you keep continuing it?
Well, to be honest, I got like 10 books on my currently reading list, and it's growing, but so I kind of get it that starting is easy, because this book is cute, this book is interesting, someone recommends me this book, so it's easy to start. But then to finish is another thing. By my actionable tips is I joined a reading challenge, and I make like a reading log. It's to motivate me that I can only put a title there. I can only count that book as read when I finish it. I don't know if it works for everyone. Some people say that, oh no, I don't like pressure. I don't want to make reading as a pressure, an activity full of pressure. I just would like to read, and if I don't finish it, I don't finish it. Some people is fine with those kind of concept. Also, some people said that life is too short to finish a book that you don't enjoy. I kind of agree with that, but I think it's quite nice to finish a book where from cover to cover, because you really get to know the context, you really get to know the whole idea, even if you don't agree or you don't like it. I think it's just important when you see it as something with certain context, maybe time context or geographical context. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Kak Puty. And there's this very last question, because it's interesting, because it's related to motherhood. Actually, there are two questions from Sinawang and Firnita, but the question is very much alike. From Sinawang, Kak Puty, how do you think to consistently read to your kids? Because I also have kids, but sometimes I feel tired to read for them, and I just want to read for myself. And Firnita also asked, how do you balance reading for yourself and reading for your children?
Yeah, I actually can relate to that. I cannot say that I'm a perfect mother. I get angry easily. But I think the thing is that when you're really tired, when you feel like you don't have the energy, I don't think that you should, like, pressure yourself to the maximum point just to read, because even if we make a conversation between adults, we know when our partner of talking isn't tired, isn't focused, and the conversation wouldn't be enjoyable. I think the same goes with reading. So if you feel like really tired, I think it's okay to skip it like one day, or but I think that the thing is to keep it consistent in the long run. So yeah, I guess if you feel like you can go for it, go for it. But then if not, then be kind to yourself I really know how it feels for mothers. Sometimes I also, okay, I will read you one book, then I will read mine. And then we have like a reading time together. Even my husband also read his own book. But also I think it's quite nice. My son is 5 years old and he's trying to learn reading. And sometimes when he asked me to read more and then I'm tired, I said, makanya bisa baca sendiri dong. And then he would, try harder for that. So I think that's nice.
Okay, thank you, Kak Puty. I think all mothers can relate to that. Well, that's a very fun session with Kak Puty, and thank you, Kak Puty, for sharing your expertise on books and motherhoods and women. So everyone, please encourage the woman in your surroundings to read more, because it's very, very important for women, mothers or not, wife or not, to have a good literacy. Okay, I think that's all for our discussion with Kak Puty, because it's nearly 8:45 p.m. and we still have a group discussion in the breakout room after this. So Sherry, can you take over from here?
Okay, thank you, Kak Krisan. Okay, so the next one, everyone, we're going to the breakout room session. So in the breakout room session, you can share your book recommendations about books and motherhood. I'm also bringing mine. So in the breakout room session, feel free to talk with each other, to comment on each other's books, recommend each other's books, and so on, like that. Okay, Airin, can you open the breakout room and stop the live?